Well, good morning ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm just going to do a quick video on dopping. So we've got a little piece of boulder opal here, it's pretty small. And there's a lot of different ways to dop, and I'll cover different ones as I get the material in. But today we're going to be using 5-minute epoxy Araldite. So yeah, a lot of people love to use wax, especially for opal. I know a lot of the other opal channels on YouTube all use wax. The problem I have with wax is that I have to order it in, whereas this stuff I can just go down to Bunnings, which is only a couple blocks away, and pick it up on any day of the week. So it's just a bit of an ease kind of thing. Other people use super glue, and I'll show some videos based on how to do it with super glue as well. But for today, we're just going to go with 5-minute epoxy and just go through the process. So first things first, look at your opal, look at your potential dop sticks. What you want is a dop stick to kind of fit the size of your opal. So this one, when I cut it, if I zoom in a little bit, when this one is cut, I'm basically just going to be keeping this moon shape, well, minus the triangle bit, this edge is going to be the outer edge of the opal. So I need a stick that's going to take up as much of this space as possible. So this small one, it'd work, but it's probably better for me to go up one size. And here you can see that it'll take up almost all of that space. There's a little bit of leeway either way, but at least it'll fit most of it. Sometimes I see people using tiny dops on massive opals, and you just lose a lot of control and you increase your chance of it popping off. So yeah, match your dop stick with your opal and just make sure that it's gonna fit a lot of that surface. You don't want a lot over the edge. You definitely don't want the dop stick bigger than the opal though, because then you're going to be carving into this. Especially if you're using cutting wheels or something, you're going to hit this before you hit the opal. So yeah, just make sure it's smaller than the opal, but not a lot smaller. Now, resin will bond to whatever, so it's always good to have a piece of plastic or something down. And all you're doing is getting a little bit of A, a little bit of B, put them next to each other, 50-50-ish. Don't need to be too accurate with it. Chuck those aside, and then just using your dop stick, you can use the opposite end. So I've got one end here that's not prepared for the opal, and one end that is, but I typically just use the end that I'm going to use the glue on. And you just want to give them a quick little mix up. With this particular epoxy, there's no colour change or anything like that. All that happens is that the glue gets a little bit cloudy, and that's pretty standard. And all you want to do is give it a quick mix. Until you're pretty happy with it. I like to get off anything on the edges. And then basically, one trick to this is to apply a little bit of the epoxy to the stone. So apply a bit on there, just kind of like that, and then reapply it to this stick, and then just let it dry a little bit. So you just want to hold them apart for a little while, just let them dry, and that way when you make contact it kind of just really sets much quicker than if you held it there. Because the problem with epoxy is, in compared to wax, is the wax, once it cools, it hardens and it's locked in. But with epoxy, you've kind of got to, like with the 5-minute, you've got to hold it for a couple minutes just for it to stay in place well enough. And that's one of the mega drawbacks. You also got to let this set for a while after you have this glue, but we'll go over that in a minute. So yeah, we'll jump forward and stick these together. So we should be right now to smack them together. Make contact, hold them flush, and you just want to hold it there for a while. Make sure your positioning is right, you want it in the right spot at this point. Make sure your edges aren't hanging over the edge of the opal. I'm finding it hard to do with the camera in my way. And you don't need to push real hard to get these two to stick together, you're just kind of holding it there and waiting for it to take hold. I probably could have waited a little bit longer. The contact method works a bit better when you wait for the outer edge of the epoxy on both surfaces to kind of grow a bit of a skin over the top of it. But it's alright, this will still work. I'll just jump forward in the video and you'll see when it's made contact. Alright, wasn't too bad at all. Alright, you can see here that it's made contact. It's pretty flush. You want the stone fairly flat. It's less important for me in this case because I'm just doing this as a demonstration and I'll be taking it off the dop stick to show you how to do that as well. But ideally you want it fairly flat and stable. You want the stick taking up a lot of that space, which it is. And yeah, that's just about it. You've now just got to wait. I typically wait a bit longer than 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is a bit short. It doesn't really lock on properly after 5 minutes. So that is, like I mentioned before, the mega drawback of this in comparison to something like the wax. The dopping wax method where you can just lock it on and then blow it cool and it's set to go. And you see Justin at Black Opal Direct use that a lot in his videos, and yeah, he dops it on and then straight away he's working on it. Whereas I've now got to wait for a couple minutes for this to properly set and be ready for me to be carving at. So we'll jump forwards in time and I'll show you how to get this off once it's a finished piece. Though I won't finish it, I'll just get it off the stick and show you. This is a huge time lapse forward. You can start working on this within probably 1 to 2 hours. It's still a little bit rubbery, the epoxy, but it's set hard enough to carve at. Maybe not if you're going to really push it up against the wheel or something, if you're going to be doing that. But this is basically rock solid on there. It ain't coming off now. It's been quite a number of hours. If you want an easy way to stand them up, I'd suggest if you're doing a small number, just using blue tack does the job. So it sticks it straight up. Don't have to hold on to it for hours at a time. If you're doing more than just a single one, then you can easily use a piece of packaging foam and just stab these into it. That works really well. Or you can get a container that is suitable for standing up a lot of them. I've got a vial rack that I use sometimes, but packaging foam if you don't have anything else, or just blue tack if you don't have too many to do. I also, off camera, cleaned off the resin that was left on the mixing plate. I just do that because I don't want to waste it. Don't want to waste a good mixing plate, so yeah. You can easily get rid of it with just wiping it off once it's formed a bit of a skin over the top of it with a piece of paper towel. So yeah, basically this is now mega stuck on a piece of wood, 5-minute epoxy. Now if you're really lucky it might just pop off at certain angles, but in this case I've left it for quite some time. If you get on it early and you get it carved, then you're a good chance of getting it off without any mega intervention. But in this case that's not going to happen because I've left this for basically all day. So worst case scenario, what you can do is you can grab something like your pocket knife. So I've just got a leather in here. And you can grab the saw and saw off as close as you can to the bottom of the stone. Anything that you don't get off, you can just go ahead and either grind down on a whetstone or a piece of sandpaper. You basically just rub the stone down, because you're not worried about the backing, you're worried about the front that you've just nicely polished and carved, which I haven't on this one. Or you can get a knife and get under it. I'm just still trying with the fingernail, but that's not going to work. Sometimes if it's a small dop stick, I can just use the hook and hook it off, but a lot of the time you just really do need to go at it with a knife, but you just want to be really careful. So I'd suggest using something less aggressive and just use like a butter knife or something like that. I'm going to be irresponsible and just use a knife, I reckon. Because sometimes you can just get in under the resin and just pop it off. It's like cutting through plastic basically. And there you have it. You can reuse the stick again. Just scrape off any glue that's on there, and you can see here there's a fair bit of glue stuck on the backing of this stone. Yeah, so you can see all of that. And all of that you can basically scrape off again with your knife. Make it risky, don't do it actually. Or you can just grab, what I'll do is I'll just run over this quickly with my Dremel bit and just grind it back down to ironstone, and then you're all good to go. You'd have a nicely finished stone in a normal case. In this case I've just got my old piece of rough back again, and yeah, so that's it. That's basic dopping with just some wooden skewers and your 5-minute Araldite epoxy. And like I said, all of this stuff is easy to get. This is actually a chopstick, so if you get some disposable chopsticks when you next get sushi or something, keep those and cut them to 6-inch kind of lengths, or whatever you feel is comfortable in your hand. I prefer about 6-7 inches. And yeah, you're pretty much good to go. I'll try to record some videos using other things. You can also do the 5-minute epoxy, and people use nails and screws. It's okay. I prefer the wooden skewer. I don't know, it's just the feel. But you can put them on screws and then screw them into dowel if you need a kind of chunkier handle. But I'm quite happy with just a chopstick kind of thickness, which is, if we have a quick look, that is about 5mm thick. And if you're doing smaller stones, of course, this is a bamboo skewer, so you're down another mil, and then if you want to go even smaller, you can use a match head or a toothpick. But that's if you're doing real tiny stones. So yeah, Araldite, 5-minute epoxy and wood skewer. It's a perfectly fine method. I don't have any problems with it. It's my base method. If I run out of epoxy, I can always just get more. But there are a lot of other methods that other people have shown online, and yeah, I'll get around to using some of those. I've already used most of them, but I'll get around to recording a video of using them. I've been using this for a while now, so I've got no stock of wax or super glue, but I can easily get some ordered in and do a similar kind of video for that. But yeah, this is a Bunnings or hardware store special. Just grab your disposable chopsticks, cut them in half, get some 5-minute epoxy, and you're good to go. You can dop whatever you want onto whatever you want. This is just one alternative, so I'll see you in the next video.